Hey everyone, welcome to Coronavirus Earth Science Day 10. This is our second day of radioactive dating. A little bit of practice today, going to go over how to answer some questions, little practice worksheets, and that's pretty much it. So for your homework today, I'd like for you to complete the worksheets. All right, I want you to do the last 3 questions from yesterday's lesson and then today's worksheet, which I'll do pretty much half of it with you today. Then don't forget you have your Castle Learning and lab that I will be grading tomorrow morning. So please make sure those are done today. As far as your quiz on Monday, that is going to be a radioactive dating quiz. All right. Now listen, just make sure it's done. Make sure you do a good job. You have all your notes at your disposal. Nobody should be getting zeros, right? You have all week to get it done. You have all the resources at hand. Everyone should get 100. The only way you're not getting 100 is if you don't do it or you don't care that much about it. So please make sure you get it done and do it well. But again, that's on Monday. So just make sure that you get these done as far as today. All right. So this is just reiterating what I just said. And today we're just going to practice how to solve half-life questions. So the entire lesson is going to be on your day 10 worksheet. All right, this is going right with the PowerPoint, and it's even going to go into this section. So I will probably complete this with you. All right, and then I'll let you guys handle this stuff. All right, so this is today's stuff, and then I would also like for you to complete those last couple questions on this worksheet from yesterday. So just these guys. All right, and after today's lesson, you should be able to do that. Okay, so here we go. We're going back to lesson 10. And here we go. So, first type of question you're going to come across is the kind of question that asks you to find the amount of time that it takes to go through a certain number of half-lives. So they have to give you this. They have to tell you how many half-lives have gone by, and they have to tell you what element they are specifically talking about. And then in order to find out how much time in total has gone by, you're going to multiply. So here's the example that I gave you on the worksheet. How many years does it take? So again, there's your question. For rubidium, there's your element to go through 2 half-lives. There's your how many half-lives. So you're going to look up rubidium's half-life. That's on your reference table, right? Page 1. And you're going to multiply that by how many half-lives they gave you. And you're going to get this. Okay? So when you do the math, you come out to 9.8 times 10 years. So that's your answer to problem 1 on your worksheet. So remember, it's going to take the half-life and multiply it by the number of half-lives that they gave you in the question. Question 2. To find the amount of time, all right, so again, that's what they're asking you for an element to decay a certain amount. So now instead of them specifically saying how many half-lives went by, they're giving you a percentage. And you have to use that percentage to figure out how many half-lives went by. So they got to tell you the element, and they have to give you the certain amount, which is going to be the percentage. Okay? So here's the type of question you can get. How long does it take? So there's your question for uranium. There's the element that they're talking about, and there's the amount that they're talking about. All right, now, listen, in order to figure this stuff out, you have to remember that table that we practiced, okay? If it's parent, daughter, half-lives, right? If no half-lives have gone by, then you have 100% parent, 0% daughter. 1 half-life goes by, then you're at 50-50. 2 half-lives go by, you're at 25-75. All right, that's the percentages that we worked on the first day of radioactive decay. And that's what I said, you have to be able to work through it. So here, 75, that's your buzzer number, right? 75, you go right here, and you'll see that it was 2 half-lives that went by. So now that you know that, then it becomes the same question as problem 1. You take your 2 half-lives, multiply it by uranium's half-life, which is from your page 1 in your reference tables, and you get your answer. Okay, so in problem 1, it was asking you for the number of half-lives, right? They gave you the number of half-lives. This one, it just gave you a little extra step where you had to find out how many half-lives it was based on the percentage. Question 3, to find the amount of an element left behind. So now they're asking you to find out the percentage after a certain amount of time has gone by. Okay? Now you're also going to have to know what element they're talking about. So here's the type of question. Okay? What is the amount of potassium-40? And here's your question, amount of, found in a substance after this much time has gone by. So take a look. This is the time, and that is not a half-life, right? That's a bigger number. You're going to have to find out how many half-lives went by. So I looked up potassium-40's half-life, divided it to find out that 2 half-lives have gone by. If I know 2 half-lives went by, then I know that 25% is remaining, according to our chart, right? Again, parent-daughter half-life. If it's 0, it's 100, 0. If it's 1, then it's 50, 50. If it's 2, then it's 25, 75. So if we found out that 2 half-lives went by, then I know that there's 25% of the parent left. And there's 75% of the new daughter that has formed. So again, make sure you pay attention to the question, because here they said left behind, so you knew it was talking about the parent. If it said how much has decayed, then they would be asking you for the daughter. So then the answer would be 75. So be careful, make sure you pay attention to the wording. All right, so then you can get some questions that deal with graphs, okay? So here, what is the half-life of this particular element? This is not on your reference table, but here's what we can figure out. We know that we're starting with 100, and if a half-life goes by, that just means how much time did it take for half of it to decay. So go to 50, that's half of it. Go across and down. All right, so now I know that 30 years is how long it takes for cesium-137 to decay 1/2. Okay? Then, when there is 35% left, how old is the sample? Okay, so let's figure that out. 35% is right here. This is 35. How old is it? Well, let's go across and down. All right, so I would estimate this. If this is 30, 40, 50, 60. So I'd go 50 years old. When will the sample be completely decayed? Listen, remember what we said. It's never going to hit 0, but it's going to get really, really close. Here, it gets super close at around 240 years. Okay? All right. So now we're getting into this. I think I'm going to go straight to that worksheet that that you have to do. So we just did all of this. Okay? So now we're going up here. The half-life of a radioactive element cannot be affected by. Remember, the only thing that affects half-life is time. Okay? That means that it cannot be affected by pressure, cannot be affected by temperature, nothing in the environment. can affect half-life. The only thing is time. Okay? So as far as these fractions, you have to know what your fractions come out to when we do some math. So 1/2 is the equivalent of 50%, right? Then 25% is the equivalent of a quarter. 1/8 is the equivalent of, if you guys can see the trend, this is 1 half-life, 2 half-lives, 3 half-lives, 4 half-lives. I hope you can see that. So if it's another half-life, 1/8 is 12.5%. And then if you cut it in half again, that's 1/16. So now they're saying, make a chart of it. Show me what that's going to look like. So if it's half, we can make a little key here. This is going to be parent, and this will be daughter. So if it's 1/2, all right, so this is number 1, it's going to be 50%. 1 half-life equals your 50%. Number 2 is 75/25, right? Which is what we have here. So this was 50/50. So you're going to take that half and now cut it in half again. Right? Because you're only going to have a quarter now of the parent left. Now the next one, number 3, is 3 half-lives. Now you're going to have your 87.5 and your 12.5. So 1 half-life, 2 half-lives, 3 half-lives. Now 4 half-lives is going to be your 93.75 and your 6.25. 1 half-life, 2 half-lives, 3 half-lives, 4 half-lives. Notice, as time progresses, daughter increases and the parent is decreasing. Okay? So now we got these questions. Okay? And a lot of these questions are going to be pertaining to the stuff that we just did here. And then you have questions 8 through 11 on day 9. All right, hope you guys understand it. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me on Remind. I'd be happy to answer them, or I'll post another video if you guys need, just ask for it. If not, I'll be posting the keys to these and you could check them out. But again, the key is there to help you. If you still don't understand it, please reach out, because you do have your quiz on Monday, which I will not post a key for. All right, good luck, stay safe, have a good weekend.